actually October 18th, 2020. We're in an RV park in Lake City, Florida. And originally we were just going to spend the one night here. We got in kind of early. It was right around 4 o'clock. Before we got here, the RV was spitting and sputtering. So I thought to myself, okay, it's either got to be bad gas, so we added a fuel treatment to it before we got to here. We also filled it up. And then I thought, okay, if that's going to be the problem, so then the other next course of action, if it continues to do what it was doing, is that we need to change out the fuel filter. And I thought for sure we could get down to Fort Myer without any problems. I was wrong. So we got all set up, spent the night here, got up the next morning. I started up the RV before we started getting it all packed up so that it would get warmed up. Lori hopped into the seat, I hopped in the seat, put on the seat belts, hit the lever into drive, and it stalled out. And then it wouldn't start back up. Couldn't smell the gas, couldn't smell anything moving throughout the system. So we went over and I did some research online, and there's actually 3 possible things that could be wrong with it. It could be the relay that's in the front. That's easy to diagnose. I took out my multimeter, tested it to make sure that there was the continuity or the spec to the pump. That was working fine. Then we went and I pulled off the fuel filter. And the thought was that if that's plugged, it's not going to provide the fuel to the engine to do what it needs to do. So the next problematic piece that goes in a fuel system is going to be the filter. So I pulled that off. I ran down to the auto parts store, got a new one, came back to the RV, put it all together, and tried to start it back up. Nothing. So that tells me that we have an issue with the fuel pump in our bounder. So we sat around for a little bit. We went up and talked to the management of the park, and they recommended a repair service. So we got their card, we called them up. They actually sent 2 guys out, and they came in and looked at it. Did the same, almost the same exact diagnostics that I did to it. Started with the relay, made sure that I had the fuel filter on right, and then they went into the back and were doing some diagnostic checks with the pump, and it's not pumping. Because you could feel it on the fuel lines when it starts to engage and push gas throughout the system. So that was yesterday, and today we are waiting for a phone call back from them, and hopefully they found us a part, and we'll be out tomorrow to drop the tank. With the way that our coach is set up, you have to drop the fuel tank. And keep in mind, it's an 80-gallon tank, and the fuel pump goes inside. It's like off center, and there's no access from the inside to get at it. We'd have to cut up a piece of floor, and I think we'd also have to go through the water tank to even get at it. So they have to take off and lower down the tank, get access to the tank, take out the old one and put in a new one, and then jack it all back up into place so we can get on the road. So that's where we're at right now. What I'm going to be doing, I'll shoot another video or sequence of videos that go along with this topic of changing out a fuel pump in our bounder. So we'll continue on with that here once we get the parts and come back in.